to the 1241st edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar, and that would be me. Good evening, traders. Oscar Carboni coming to you live on a Tuesday night for trading Wednesday, October 29, 2014. Before I get into what's going to happen in the markets tomorrow, or what should happen, you should know that futures trading can be extremely risky, can cause substantial financial loss, is certainly not suitable for all trading accounts, and of course what's happening tonight is my opinion. It's the opinion of a trader who's been doing this, an analyst who's been on the floors and trading, down on the trading floors, and trading in the pits, out of the pits, you name it, for over 33 years. That is who you're getting these opinions from. Let's see where this goes. Traders, what is on the board? Right off the bat, we know this. Fed day tomorrow, FOMC meeting. The meeting ends. There will be grand volatility. Extreme volatility is expected. Traders, if you know me, if you've been following the OMNI for a while, all the way up to 2008, we never touched anything on a Fed day. You're not allowed to trade on a Fed day. That's a rule. After 2008 into 2009, when I realized the Fed was in a box and they can only do one thing, once they got rates down to about zero, which was nothing, for the last couple of years, I would put out OMNI trading recommendations on Fed days, and we would do as the charts say. We are now back to a spot where when the Fed has a meeting, it's going to be extremely meaningful. The Fed now has an open door to do whatever they want. QE stops as of Wednesday, this day. So I say Fed meetings now, we no longer are going to put out an OMNI recommendation on the Fed day. That doesn't stop us from showing you an opinion, from trading after the Fed announcement. And we happen to be in a gold position, which we've basically had on since Friday's trading. We got short gold, it came off, we got out at the close, we got back in Sunday night. Gold came off again, we got out, we got back in Monday, back in Tuesday, and we expect the gold to move even lower, and I'll show you some charts to prove why. Then we've got this, the transportation average, traders. The Dow Jones transportation average has exploded, taken off, and has now made all-time highs for the year. And let me tell you right now, if the transportation average is making new highs, remember this. Our stock market is made up of companies that make products. Well, some of them do. Every product in the world starts and ends with transportation. You've got to get raw materials to a factory. You've got to get people to the factory. You've got to get everything there first. Make a product. Transportation to get the stuff there. Then you've got to transport the product to wherever it's going to be sold in the world. It begins and ends with transportation. The transportation average is making new highs. That's a very good sign for what's coming next by Christmas this year in the United States. All right, now, traders, I seen President Obama today on television, and he was talking about Ebola, right? So you got to give him an applause for one thing. He's trying something, they're doing something, but I've got a couple of quick things to say about Ebola. One, what the F is going on with the FDA and Ebola testing? There are 3 or 4 companies right now that claim they may have either a cure or a vaccine against Ebola, and the FDA is not going to give approval till at least late December, if not early January, to give human trials. Now I have a question. Has anybody in the FDA ever gotten past 8th grade education? Have you ever heard of exponential mathematics, exponential numbers? In this case, exponential expansion of a disease? You know how many people could be sick by the middle of December? You've got dying people right now lining up in West Africa. Let them line up and take the damn trial. What are we waiting until January for? I don't get it. Let them line up. Exponential numbers, they start to grow rapidly when a disease takes place and starts to spread. FDA, really? If these people are dying anyway, let them take the trials. I mean, really? Let them have it. Now, here's another thing I have to say about Ebola, and let me tell you something right now. I think that we've got somebody that should be looked into. I think this Craig Spencer doctor in New York City is a damn terrorist, if you want to know the truth. And here's why. Imagine this. You're a well-educated doctor. You totally know what's going on. You know how diseases are spread. You know the way the body and the blood works. You go to West Africa where you're helping people who are sick and dying of a very fatal disease, which you may or may not now have contacted. What do as an intelligent doctor? You come to New York City, you get on a train, you stand there holding on to the strap hangers, then you go bowling in Brooklyn? Has anybody ever gone to a Brooklyn bowling alley before? I have. There's got to be 500 people that will be touching the same bowling balls, touching the same glasses, whatever it is that this guy was touching. Here's what I think. I think this guy's a terrorist. I think you should look into his past. I think he took a train, he took an Uber cab, he went to a bowling alley, he did things you would never do if you were a doctor who thought there's a possibility of an infection that could spread. And then he went to the hospital to get checked? Really? That is bullshit if you ask me. This guy needs to be checked out. My opinion here, but who in their right mind would have done that many things that could possibly involve so many public, especially children, at the bowling alley, and then went to the hospital to see if they were sick? Really? I say something doesn't sit right with me on that one. Check this guy out. I don't like this Craig Spencer idea even slightly. So there's my Ebola rant. Obviously, it's done nothing to knock our markets down. Now, let me say one other thing. You had lunatics like Cramer and so many people for the last 10 days out there telling you the end of the world was coming, right? Especially a few days ago, before 10 days ago when it was dropping. Cramer comes out with this shopping list. He's got 10 things that he puts out a week ago that says you cannot get long the stock market anymore unless we fix these 10 things, right? A guy like Cramer. He says, you've got ISIS. If that doesn't go away, the markets are going to continue to go down. You've got Ebola. If that doesn't stop, the markets are going down. He starts rattling off all the bad stuff. You've got Russia, the Ukraine. He's got all that on his list, right? I come out on the same day and call the bottom on this fantastic chart that I showed to you. And I said, hey, day traders, this is my chart masterpiece. And I showed you something that told us the S&P should take off and recover. Well, 2 days after Cramer, 3 days after Cramer put out his laundry list of reasons why you cannot get long the S&P anymore, he gets on television. Somebody questions him, hey, Cramer, what about your list? Now you're calling for the upside? Just a few days ago you said you got to satisfy these 10 things. And he goes, well, all of it's been already satisfied. And the guy says to him, you mean Ebola's been cured? Al-Qaeda, or I should say ISIS, that's over now? The Russian crisis, all of that is over? And the other 7 things? Cramer goes, yeah, the government got ahead of Ebola. The government got ahead of everything. Everything's back to normal now. We're going to go back up. What the hell kind of an opinion is that? That's what most of the people on the street was spewing when I came out with this insane chart and said the OMNI says we're going up. OMNIac stayed steadfast for the last 10 days. We only had one down day, or one day OMNI called the downside. And for the past 10 days, based on that chart and many others I showed you in my last few videos, this market has taken off. How about a round of applause for technical analysis? Traders, I'd love to show you more of this. I'm at livewithoscar.com in a free chat room, live on camera with a microphone. If you'd like to join me and learn about charts, markets, and how to apply such to moving forward and hopefully making profits, come on down to livewithoscar.com and join me in my free trading room. No one makes profits every day, traders. That's why we put in stops. But listen, this OMNI does a pretty good job, and I want you to come see it. With no further ado, let's go look at some charts. Okay, traders, exactly 10 days ago, I brought this chart to you when it looked just like this. You had lunatics like Cramer and NBC and CNBC and Bloomberg and just about everybody else out there calling for the next major crash. I come out with this chart and said, traders, look at this. Look at the flag. Look at that. Look at this. This is where we are now. We're going to go up like this did. We were here. And I said, this is right. This is telling me we're going higher. We held on to some key on the averages. This is what we're going to key off of. And we've been using this chart for the past 10 days to trade. This is what it looked like on the day everybody else told you the end of the world was coming. And this is what happened since. I mean, look at the difference. That's what it was. And this is what happened since. Oh my God, rock and roll. Talk about technical analysis. My goodness, did that ever work. that, traders, we should be famous, us OMNIX, for posting this chart masterpiece on the day that it turned. I mean, really, what more could you ask for from accurate technical analysis? Bravo, bravo, bravo on that chart. My goodness. Let's move forward. So here we are now. Next chart is your NASDAQ on the daily, and you held the 200 bar moving average. If you recall, I put this chart before your eyes same day and said, fund managers, blue light special, kids, this is where they come in and buy. It's the blue light special, blah, blah, blah. I got all animated. This is what happened since the blue light special. We're about to go and test, or if not, take out the previous highs. I wouldn't worry about that being a double top just yet. Let's see where the market goes. If, in fact, it becomes a double top, we'll talk about it then. Let's see where the market goes. Then you've got Russell. Russell finally gets above the 200 bar moving average, although I'm not completely impressed with Russell. In fact, if it doesn't get above here, I'm not even slightly happy with Russell. But at least it's above the 200 bar moving average right now. That, at least, is impressive, and it's something positive. Then you've got the Dow Jones Transportation Average. Look at that chart and applaud it, traders. Applaud it. My goodness. Bounces off the 200 bar moving average, runs up, takes out the previous highs, which is why NASDAQ should and S&P should and everybody else should, and ends up all the way up here. It looks like it wants to go even higher on Wednesday, but we'll let the FOMC meeting happen first before we do anything. Then we've got this, traders. This is, or has been, a masterpiece that I have shown you week after week after week in the gold market. And I pointed out that we called official top in gold at 1680 a long time ago on this weekly chart. After we called that, this formation had been created, and I pointed it out to you and said, look, comes down, then bounces for a second, for a third. After the third hit of the straight line, it goes up a little bit and nosedives. Then this formation grew, and I went, my goodness, look. It comes down and bounces, 1, 2, comes for a third one, and then bounces up just a little bit. I went, well, that should look just like this. I mean, that's the same thing. So that's what I'm expecting. And then there's this, traders. Pull up your chair, get a little closer, take a look at this. Here is a chart. I know it's going to be a little hard to see, but I'll explain it. Here is a chart of gold daily bar and Fed meetings and what happened during the Fed meeting since 2013. The December Fed meeting 2013, you got this and this. The January 2014 meeting, you got this and this. March, we didn't have one in Feb. March, you got this and that. In April, you got this and this. In May, we didn't have one. In June, it did not work, and the market went up for FOMC day or Fed day. In July, you went like this and like that. In September, we didn't have one. In August, we went like this and like that. And now we have one today. So let's count. This one worked. 1. This one worked. 2. This one worked. 3. This one worked. 4. This one worked. 5. This one worked. 6. This one didn't. 7. 6 out of 7 worked. What do you think happens tomorrow? I say, same thing. You at least get a chance to cover gold on the downside if you are short with the OMNIX. Traders, pull your own charts. Do your own homework. Never accept anybody's opinion without doing your own analysis first. So, traders, you've seen the charts, and let me tell you something. That is why we're neutral for trading on Wednesday. We are neutral to start off. But look, come on. Does this not deserve a round of applause? The before and after, I mean, come on. Does it get any better than this, OMNIX? I say rock and roll for technical analysis. I'll see you all at livewithoscar.com. And always remember, keep your emotions out of trading. One of the best things you can do to help yourselves with staying calm when you're in these crazy markets is to say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening. And you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Rock and roll, and let's investigate that Mr. Craig Spencer, please. Futures trading is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee that you will profit from the information provided.